Do we think Sidney Crosby, among other big name players, could be moving at the trade deadline? Hello, everyone. It's me, your boy. Welcome back to the Pucked Up Podcast. I am Chris. Joined with me, as always, is D in Danger. Maul could not be here with us this week. He is working, so
He's a bastard.
I know. How dare he prioritize work over this? But that's right. He'll be back next week, of course, and we'll be seeing a lot more of him. So we'll let him explain that next week. But we are here. This is being released on the day of the trade deadline. So if you guys make sure you're checking this out. Also, make sure you come hang out with us on the live stream. I'll be live on our YouTube channel covering everything for the last 3 hours of the deadline. So that's super exciting. But before we get into trade deadline stuff, D, we got a lot of news for the PWHL.
We do. Yeah, they just don't stop doing news over there.
Right.
We do. We absolutely do. So to kick things off, I'm actually going to talk about the fact that it is Women's Empowerment Month. And so the PWHL has started an initiative to boost that. They have a really cool logo that was designed by Fiorella Granda, which if you haven't seen it, please go check the PWHL website. It's really cool. Now. There you go.
Okay.
All right. So all 6 teams are having a specific game that they will do different activations at for Women's Empowerment Month. There is a new logo. The t-shirts are already printed and being sold either on the US shop or the PWHL Canada shop. So if you love it, you can go get it there. And they're also partnering with author Jenna M. Prestige, who is the author of Rosie the Hockey Player of that book series. So there's something cool with that too. So with that, I will say that all 6 teams, again, are celebrating women who help shape the future, both on and off the ice at various games. So Montreal Victoire is having a activation on March 4th when they play Minnesota at Place Bell. The Boston Fleet are having their activation on March 5th versus New York at Tsonga Center. The Toronto Scepters are doing theirs on March 9th, also versus Minnesota at the Coca-Cola Coliseum. The New York Sirens are doing theirs on March 12th versus Montreal at Prudential Center. The Ottawa Charge are doing theirs on March 15th versus Boston at TD Place. And lastly, the Minnesota Frost have their activation on March 26th versus Montreal at the Xcel Energy Center. And then just a little bit about the logo. Fiorella's logo design is a tribute to the resilience, strength, and unity of women in sports, symbolizing the ongoing fight for equality and visibility in sports. Featuring 3 distinct hockey players of varying positions, body types, and identities, the design reflects the growing presence of women in hockey and the idea that all women can succeed on and off the ice. The inclusion of a para-ice hockey player emphasizes that women's empowerment must be inclusive of all, including athletes with disabilities, which we absolutely support. That is so important. Disabled athletes are still athletes, and they can do incredible fucking shit. If you are not watching the Paralympics, you should have been, because it was awesome. I mean, definitely para hockey too. They're still beating the shit out of each other. It's all the same stuff we love of in the NHL, just closer to the ice. That's the difference. So
it's still violent as fuck.
Definitely check that out. It's still violent as fuck. Yeah, 100%. So players will be wearing the new logo t-shirts throughout the month, and fans are able to purchase them. There's also some other stuff, we don't know what's exactly happening at each game just yet. That information will be coming out through the team, so make sure you're following your favorite team to learn what they're doing. And with that collaboration with the author, she is launching her 7th book in the best-selling series, Rosie the Hockey Player, The History of Women's Hockey, which celebrates the achievements of the many women who have helped grow the game of hockey. The book will be released on March 8th, which is International Women's Day, and is available for purchase only on the PWHL shop through the end of March. A donation will be made to benefit the Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities and Women's Sports Foundation when you buy it through the PWHL in March. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and pick that up there as well. And if you want to know more about the specific activations, again, head over to the pwhl.com. They have a whole website that has information specifically on Women's Empowerment Month. And the very cool thing is that it's also been translated in French for like our Montreal game, because they have all their shit in French, obviously judging by their name. So very cool there. And then for some more announcements coming out of the PWHL, we have a bad girl alert. The PWHL Player Safety Committee has issued a fine against Kristen O'Neill in the amount of $250. This is for an incident that occurred at 9:31 of the first period in the Victoires game against the Boston Fleet on Saturday afternoon. The Player Safety Committee determined that O'Neill's stick made dangerous contact to the head of opponent Emily Brown, which resulted in a minor penalty for high sticking. This is the first fine that O'Neill has been assessed in her PWHL career. Again, they said that they have a commitment to preventing dangerous play to the head, and we're seeing that this season with all the fines that they're issuing for contact to the head. We love to see it. We love it when associations like this say they're going to do something and then fucking stick to it. That's all we ask for. Just a little bit of consistency.
Yeah, that's literally the only thing we have been asking for is consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. A quick note, we had the duel at the top for the second year in a row. This year, it was the Montreal Victoire versus the Boston Fleet. The Victoire won 3-2 in an overtime decision. We've had a lot of overtime games here lately. We love it. We love extra hockey, you know?
Absolutely.
It was presented by Air Canada, and it was at Bell Center. They had 17,324 fans in attendance, once again showing that people want to see women's sports. 17,000 fans is no joke. Like,
that's about
we're not getting that for
Bell
some.
Center.
Yeah,
I'd say that's about 80%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not always getting that for like NHL games.
I mean, look at Buffalo.
Right.
Well, I don't think anyone is, Chris. I think that's part
Exactly.
of the problem.
Yeah. Like, I think I mentioned it last week. More people are going to KeyBank Center in Buffalo to go see lacrosse than they are to go see hockey. So
Yeah,
tells you what you need to know.
exactly. 100%. So yeah, another exciting duel at the top there. And then lastly as a collective unit, we're moving into the stars of the week/month. We'll start with the month, because why not? So the PWHL Supra Stars of the Month, as presented by Air Supra, an albuterol inhaler for all your inhalation needs. We have forward Emily Clark of the Ottawa Charge. Clark had points in all 6 of Ottawa's February games, collecting 4 goals and 5 assists with 22 shots on goal and a +7 rating. They played 3 overtime games in February, and Clark played a role in key goals in each of them. In a 3-2 takeover tour loss to Toronto at Rogers Place in Edmonton, she set up the goal by Teresa Venesova that tied the game 2-2. In a 3-2 loss at home in Boston in the following game, she assisted on the Venesova tally that tied the score, again, 2-2, familiar number. And at TD Place on February 26, Clark's goal at 5:21 of the third period provided a 4-3 Charge lead before Gabby Hughes scored in overtime to give Charge the win. Clark also had a hand in all 3 tallies February 22nd, setting up Stephanie Markowski's first PWHL goal, then notching the winner and adding empty net insurance as the Charge topped the first place Montreal 3-1 on home ice. The single game output was a career best for the 29-year-old from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, whose February performance raised her season's total to a team-leading 7 goals, 7 assists in 20 games, and pulled her within a point of matching last season's 4 goals and 11 assists. Clark shared the team lead in assists with Jinsey Rose, and her goal total is second on the Charge to the 9 by Venesova. The second forward that was nominated for the Superstar of the Month is Gabby Hughes, out of Ottawa Charge. So we got 2 Charges in our top lineup. A pair of 2 goals, 1 assist performances powered an 8-point month that boosted the Lino Lakes, Minnesota native to 5 goals, 5 assists for the season. Just 2 away from matching her 9-3 in the PWHL inaugural season. Perhaps most notably, Hughes gave Ottawa its first overtime victory in franchise history with her shot past New York goaltender Corinne Schroeder 36 seconds into extra play on February 26th. The tally was her second of the game, to go with an assist on Clark's 4-3 goal. Hughes had notched her first 3-point game in 13 days just 13 days earlier in an 8-3 conquest of Minnesota. Her goal at 5:41 in the second period launched a run of 6 consecutive Ottawa tallies that turned a 2-2 game into a runaway for the Charge. Hughes followed that pattern with a goal and an assist against Toronto in a takeover tour game at Rogers Place in Edmonton, playing a role in both of Ottawa's goals in a 3-2 overtime loss. Next up, we have Hannah Miller, forward for the Toronto Scepters. After making the Superstars roster for the month of January, Miller followed up with 3 goals, 6 assists, and 9 shots in February to earn another Superstars recognition as Toronto won 5 of their 6 games. Of particular note was a 2-game rampage in which she played a scoring role in all of 7 Toronto's goals across the 2 games, raising to 7 her total multi-point games for the season. Miller had 3 assists in the Scepters' 3-2 overtime takeover victory tour over Ottawa and Edmonton on February 16th, and followed with 2 goals and 2 assists in a 4-1 victory over New York. The 4-point game was the third in PWHL history, but a first by a forward. The other player to attain the achievement were defenders Erin Ambrose of Montreal and Claire Thompson of Minnesota. Miller's performance raised her season's point total to 10 goals and 12 assists, tops among the PWHL scorers, and powered a 16-point month for her and her team as the second-place Scepters went 4-2-0-1. For defenders, we start with Renata Fast of the Toronto Scepters, the top-scoring defender in the PWHL with 4 goals and 13 assists. Fast played in all 7 of Toronto's February games, contributing 2 goals and 3 assists with 12 shots while increasing her PWHL leading hits total to 43. Fast February output also powered her last season's point total of 3 goals and 10 assists in 24 games, while helping the Scepters mount a 6-game winning streak and a 9-game point streak, each of which began in January. In addition, Fast raised her point total to 2 goals and 9 assists on the Scepters PWHL leading power play, which now stands at 32.8% with 21 goals on 64 opportunities. Fast opened the month with a game-winning goal in consecutive games. She notched the 3-1 goal on the power play in a 4-2 win over Ottawa, and scored the 3-2 winner over Minnesota with just 4 seconds remaining in overtime at the Coca-Cola Coliseum, beating Maddie Rooney on a breakaway. Fast then collected a pair of power play assists in Toronto's 3-2 takeover tour over Ottawa, teaming up with Miller to help Daryl Watts tie the game 1-1 at 15:54 of the second, before the duo combined with Watts again with 51 seconds gone in overtime. Next for Minnesota, we have Sophie Jakes. She contributed 2 goals and 4 assists with 9 shots on goal in Minnesota's 5 February games. She had a hand in both Frost goals and a 3-2 overtime loss at Toronto, beating Reagan Kirk from the left wing circle with the game's first shot at 1:23 of the game, then setting up Brooke McQuigge's goal from the slot at 8:40 of the second to provide a temporary 2-0 lead. Jakes added a goal in Ottawa and an assist in Minnesota's games in a 4-2 loss in Boston on February 16th before collecting an assist at the Frost 4-0 victory over Montreal. With 3 goals and 11 assists in 15 games for the season, Jakes ranks 3rd in scoring amongst PWHL defenders, trailing only behind Fast and Minnesota teammate Claire Thompson. Jakes' 0.93 points per game leads all active defenders, ahead of Fast's 0.81 per game and Thompson's 0.75. And lastly, our goalie for the month is none other than Erin Frankel of the Boston Fleet. Frankel made 5 starts in 12 days during Boston's compressed 6-game February schedule. She made 25 saves in her first shutout of the season, a 4-0 victory over New York at Prudential Center, then absorbed a 3-1 loss in Toronto before getting a breather on February 16th as Klara Pelslarova helped the Fleet rebound with a 4-2 victory over Minnesota with their first career win. Frankel returned to the net for a 4-1 victory, the second of her 3 over the Sirens in the month, then backstopped a 3-2 victory at Ottawa. Frankel closed out her stellar February work by stopping all 5 Siren shooters in Boston's 3-2 shootout triumph in a takeover tour game at KeyBank Center. In all, Frankel stopped 143 of the 151 shots she faced, compiling a .947 save percentage and collecting 4 of the Fleet's 5 February victories in a 13-point month. That lifted Boston to 3rd in the PWHL standings. That is it for our superstars.
I feel like the A in Erin Frankel's name is unnecessary. Like, it's spelled Aerin. Like, it doesn't need to be there. Like,
I mean, it looks pretty though. It's like Aerie, the clothing brand, I guess.
Yeah. How do you spell your name? But the A is silent.
Maybe it's not. Maybe the E is silent.
Maybe the E is silent. It's just
I guess she gets to
choose. I've never seen Erin spelt like that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Huh. All right.
Well, you learned something new.
We did. We all learned something new today.
I mean, I knew how her name was spelled, so I didn't have to learn that.
Okay, well, we're not all as cool as you today, T.
I mean, I just read this every week, so.
You know what? Super fair.
Yeah,
you can say that, but you still pronounced Lino Lakes wrong. But I'll forgive you.
But how? I don't live there. How am I supposed to pronounce it? Lino makes sense
told you last
for like
week.
the Minnesota.
Yeah, no, I know.
Did. I forgot.
I did tell you last week, but I'll forgive you.
I'll forgive you today, just this once.
Yeah,
just this once.
We'll now move into our
I wasn't going to bring it up until right then.
We're going to move into our Shark Beauty Canada 3 stars of the week for the week of whatever this week was. February 24th to March 2nd. The third star is Katie Tabin, a defender for the Montreal Victoire. Tabin had a career best 2 goals and a season high 5 shots on net in Saturday's duel at the Bell Center. Her 2-goal performance, the first by Victoire defender in team history, started with a 50-foot wrist shot from the left point that sailed past Stacey's screen and beat Boston goalie Aaron Frankel inside the post to her right just 36 seconds after the opening draw. Tabin's second goal was a slap shot, also from the left point, that tied the score 2-2 at 13:01 of the third period and set the stage for Stacey's dramatic overtime winner. The 5-shot game ended a 9-game stretch in which Tabin had totaled only 6 shots. The 5 shots also topped her previous season high of 4 and was the second highest total of her career. Tabin had 7 shots on goal at Boston on February 4th of 2024. With 3 goals and 2 assists for the season, the 27-year-old from Winnipeg is 1 point shy of matching last season's output. Our second star is Gabby Hughes, forward for the Ottawa Charge. Hughes earned 3 Stars of the Week recognition for the second time in 3 weeks after scoring 2 goals and setting up a third in Ottawa's only game, a 5-4 overtime win against the New York Sirens at TD Place. In doing so, Hughes recorded the second 3-point performance and third multi-point effort in a 5-game span since the international break, totaling 5 goals and 3 assists. The second star of the week for games February 10th through the 16th opened the scoring 3:15 into the game and closed it just 36 seconds into overtime, giving Ottawa its first overtime victory in team history and pulling the Charge within 2 points of 4th place Minnesota. She also set up the goal by Emily Clark that gave the Charge a 4-3 lead at 5:21 of the third period. Hughes has 14 goals in her PWHL career, and 4 of them have been game winners. With 5 goals and 5 assists for the season, she is within 2 points of matching last year's output of 9 and 3. Hughes is tied for third in the Charge in goals behind Clark and Venesova, and her point total is third on the team behind Clark and Venesova. I guess that's just how that goes. They're always in the same spots. And then our first star this week is Laura Stacey, a forward for the Montreal Victoire. With a goal and assist in each game, Stacey helped Montreal make some franchise history, sweep its 2-game week, and build its first-place lead to 7 points over Toronto, entering the Women's Empowerment Month. Saturday also against Boston, before a duel at the top crowd of 17,324 at Montreal Bell's Center, Stacey scored with 16.3 seconds remaining in overtime, launching herself towards the rebound of a Kayla Barnes shot and sending a 10-foot backhand into the net as she landed. The Victoire have 2 overtime victories this season, and Stacey has scored the winner in both of them. She notched the other just 15 seconds into extra time at Toronto. Just 36 seconds into the duel, Stacey assisted on the fastest goal from the start of the game in Victoire history, teaming with Jennifer Gardner to set up the first of 2 goals by defender Katie Tabin. In Montreal's other game on February 25th against Toronto, Stacey set up Gardner's 1-1 goal at 4:01 of the second period and added the 3-1 tally in an attempt into an empty net with exactly 1 minute left in regulation. With goals in 3 straight games and 7 goals and 5 assists for the season, Stacey is second on the team in tallies to the 12 goals by Marie-Philip Poulin. So just as a quick recap of our top 3, Alex Carpenter has 40 points. Hannah Miller, Gabby Hughes, and Abby Boreen have 50 points. And Marie-Philip Poulin has 90 points so far this season. And that is it for our PWHL news.
Well, excellent. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well, let's keep you talking, because now it's time for the men's 3 star, or 3 stars.
Yeah. So we're going to start with the men's 3 stars of the month, which we always, for the month, start actually with our 4th star, which is the fan. So this month's Geico 4th star is Hank Stowitz? I don't know. Hank, I apologize. I'm sure you said your name, and I'm sure I didn't hear it. You're a good man, Hank. Longtime Red Wings fan, Hank is known for bringing custom signs to games to distract opposing teams and to create a fan advantage. In one of them, he said, "Rockin' the Joe, go Wings." I don't know who Joe is. I don't know what you're rocking.
Doesn't matter who Joe is.
Their old arena was Joe Louis Arena before they moved into Little Caesars Arena.
Got it.
Sure.
Fair enough.
I mean, you can't rock the Joe if you're in Caesar, but
well, not with that fucking attitude.
I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. Our third star of the month for the month of February was none other than Leon Draisaitl, center for the Edmonton Oilers. Draisaitl topped the NHL with 8 goals in as many games as the Oilers went 2-6-0 in February. That's not a great record, just saying. No. He scored He scored in each of his last 7 games to match the longest goal streak of his career. Draisaitl also extended his point streak to 10 games dating back to January 27th, his 11th career double-digit run and second so far this season. Draisaitl's February, which included 4 straight multi-point performances, saw him finish among the league's leaders in power play goals, tied for second with 3, points, 4th with 12, even strength goals, tied for 4th with 5, even strength points, tied for 7th with 8, shots on goal, tied for 11th with 31, and power play points, tied for 13th with 4. The 29-year-old Draisaitl currently holds a 10-goal lead in the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy race through 59 total games this season. He also places among the leading 2024-2025 players in game-winning goals, tied for first with 9, even strength goals first with 31, even strength points first with 63, power play goals tied for first with 13, points second with 88, even strength assists tied for fourth with 32, plus minus tied for 8th with plus 27, shots on goal 9th with 198, and power play points tied for 9th with 25. Wow, what a lot of stats. Next up, yeah, that's pretty much it. We have second star Brandon Hagel, left winger for Tampa Bay Lightning. Hagel, who played in all 4 Canada games during a championship run at the Four Nations Face-Off, where they were 0-1-1. Well, I guess just 0-1. Really, at the end of the day. Led the NHL with 7 goals and 6 assists and 8 outings to push the Lightning into 3rd place in the Atlantic Division via a league-best 7-0-1 February. That is, in fact, very good for a record. Yes. Hagel, who collected all of his points during a 7-game run to close the month, additionally finished among February's standouts in even strength points, first with 12. Plus minus second with plus 14, goals tied for second with 7, even strength goals tied for second with 6, and shooting percentage, minimum 10 shots on goal. He is tied for third with 33.3%. He produced 4 multi-point performances, highlighted by a stretch of 3 straight from February 8th to the 23rd that included his 3rd career point effort. The 26-year-old Hagel currently sits second on Tampa Bay with 29 goals and 38 assists through 58 total appearances this season, 1 goal and 8 points shy of his career high established in the 2022-2023 season. He also ranks among the top leaders in shorthanded points, first with 7, shorthanded assists, tied for first with 4, even strength goals, tied for second with 26, shorthanded goals, tied for third with 3, even strength points, 4th with 53, plus minus tied for 4th with plus 29, goals 9th with 29, points 14th with 67, and even strength assists tied for 15th with 27. Lastly, our first star is Nathan MacKinnon, a center for the Colorado Avalanche. MacKinnon notched 4 goals and 8 assists in 8 games to lift the Avalanche into a tie in terms of standing points for 3rd place in the Central Division via a 5-3-0 month. He also scored a tournament best 4 goals in as many games to claim MVP honors to help Canada to its championship at the Four Nations Face-Off. MacKinnon found the score sheet in 5 of his 8 appearances for Colorado, highlighted by a trio of 3-point performances. He topped the league in power play goals with 4, power play points tied with 6, and shots on goal with 38, and also ranked amongst February's leaders in points at 7th with 12 and assists tied for 8th with 8. MacKinnon became the first NHL player to reach the 90-point milestone so far this season, doing so in his 60th appearance on February 26th. It marked the 3rd straight campaign that MacKinnon has accumulated 90 points in 60 or fewer games, after also achieving the feat in the 2023-24 run and 2022-2023 run. The reigning Hart Memorial Trophy and 10 Lidsey Award winner currently owns a league-high 23 goals, 68 assists through 61 total games this season. The 29-year-old McKinnon also places amongst the top performers in assists with 68, even strength assists first with 46, even strength points second with 62, shots on goal second with 247, power play points tied for second with 29, and power play assists tied for third with 22. So shout out to our 3 stars of the month there as we go into our 3 stars of the week. And also special shout out to you, Hank. Sorry, I got your name wrong. Our 3rd star for this week is none other than Nick Suzuki, a center for the Montreal Canadiens. Suzuki placed second in the NHL with 3 goals and 4 assists across 3 games as the Canadiens completed a perfect week to move within 3 points of the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Suzuki collected 3 points in each of his first 2 games, with 1 goal and 2 assists in a 4-0 win over the Carolina Hurricanes, before picking up 2 goals and an assist, including the primary assist on Cole Caulfield's overtime winner, in a 4-3 victory against the San Jose Sharks. He then added 1 helper in a 4-2 win versus the Buffalo Sabres on March 1st, as Montreal extended its winning streak to 4 games, its longest of the season. The 25-year-old Canadiens captain paces the team with 18 goals and 43 assists through 60 total appearances so far this season. He also sits among the Montreal leaders in assists, first with 43, power play points, first with 20, overtime goals, first with 4, game-winning goals, tied for first with 5, plus-minus tied for first with +7, goals, second with 18, power play assists, second with 17, and power play goals, tied for fourth with 3. Our 2nd star is a man whose name I love, Roope Hintz, a center for the Dallas Stars. Hintz topped the NHL with 7 assists and 9 points overall, as well as 5 power play assists/points in 3 contests to propel the Stars to a pair of wins. He scored once in a 6-4 loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets on February 25th. Hintz then compiled 1 goal and 7 assists over his next 2 outings, establishing a career high with 4 assists in a 6-2 win against the Los Angeles Kings, before adding his 6th career 4-point performance with 1 goal and 3 assists, including his 33rd career game-winning goal, and a 6-3 win versus the St. Louis Blues. He became the 2nd Stars/North Stars player in the past 40 years to register consecutive 4-point games, following Tyler Seguin. Sagan. I know it's Sagan, but I like pronouncing it differently.
I didn't say anything.
It's for the commenters. I know it's not you.
I was like, I didn't say anything today.
It is Tyler Seguin, but Seguin sounds more fun. I just want to say sequin every time I see it for some reason.
Sequin.
Which honestly, maybe we should just start calling him that. Anyway, he became the 4th player in franchise history with at least 7 assists over 2 games. The 28-year-old Hintz has played in 56 total games this season, with 24 goals, 23 assists, ranking among the top 5 on Dallas with in-game winning goals. The goal does have to be in the game in order for you to win. He is tied for first with 6
usually
goals. He is 3rd with 24. Power play assists, 3rd with 9. Points, 4th with 47. Power play goals, 4th with 5. Power play points, 4th with 14. And assists, tied for 5th with 23. Which leads us to our 1st star. And that is none other than Andrei Vasilevsky. Sorry, you put your finger up and I was like, oh wait, do I need to pause?
He was number 1!
Vazzy obviously plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Vasilevsky stopped 71 of the 73 shots he faced, going 3-0-0 with a .67 goals against average, a .973 save percentage, and 1 shutout as he and the Lightning both extended their winning streaks to 8 games dating back to February 4th. Vasilevsky turned aside 23 of 24 shots, including each of the last 17, in a 4-1 victory against the Edmonton Oilers. He then made 24 saves for his 38th career shutout, tied for 3rd most in the NHL. In a 3-0 win over the Calgary Flames, Vasilevsky finished the week with 20 stops, yielding his lone goal with 3:59 remaining in regulation, and a 3-1 win versus the Eastern Conference leading Washington Capitals. The 30-year-old Vasilevsky, who additionally owns a 10-game point streak dating back to January 30th, shares 2nd place in the NHL with 29 wins through 47 total appearances. The Vezina Trophy and Conn Smythe Trophy winner also paces among the 24-2025 league leaders in goals against average, 2nd with 2.18, shutouts tied for 2nd with 4, and save percentage 3rd with .923. You know, funny that they mentioned the Capitals in here because someone got a hat trick And that wasn't noted. They got a hat trick in the month of February. Usually that's like enough to get you a spot, I guess. Not for the man who's 11 goals within, or to break Gretzky's record. I don't know.
Is there a little bitter biscuits?
I mean, we scored 15 goals in 24 hours. That's an incredible fucking thing to do. Like, I think that maybe the Capitals should have been like the third star, just the organization as
the entire organization. By the way, we dogged on everyone in like an entire 24-hour period. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
Pretty much.
That's fair, but like the stat line that Vazzy put up is fucking.
Oh, I'm not saying he should have been first star. I'm saying like maybe Suzuki, who didn't have enough to mention how he is top of any NHL stats, so they put him at the top of the Dallas Stars stats instead.
Well, yeah. Nick Suzuki, listen, the Canadians need a win right now, and having Suzuki as the third star, that's, let's give them their due a little bit. They kind of need this little victory. Yeah.
But how much do we really need to baby the feelings of the Canadian?
I mean, thank God Maul's not here.
I know.
I was just going to say, I can say these things because our resident Canadian is not.
Can we talk about how just like vicious the U.S.-Canada rivalry has gotten again? It's so great. Fun.
Thank you, Four Nations, for doing that.
Yes, absolutely.
At least bringing back my personal rivalry with the Canadians because there's so much family up there.
Speaking of attendance and eyes being on the sport, Danger, the most recent Stadium Series event was just held. If you want to talk to us a little more about that.
I do. I have a little bit of news. Yeah, just in general. A lot of locals in Columbus may not have necessarily ever thought that they would see the marriage, even if it's temporary, between football and hockey, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Stadium Series was held at the Ohio State's arena, football arena. And the Blue Jackets did win 5-3 over Detroit Red Wing. And, I love this quote from whoever wrote this article, Anthony Porzelline. I'll give you the credit. But it's when the Blue Jackets first arrived on the scene in 2000, Ohio State acted like a big brother who never really wanted a sibling, which is just perfectly, I think, describes the feeling in Ohio State, or especially around the Ohio State's campus. And there's a reason why I keep saying the Ohio State, to be explained later. But, they weren't all that excited and really didn't seem to care. And then it goes on, saying that like Ohio State fans who weren't too excited to have the NHL played in their stadium, especially one featuring a Columbus dressed in blue and the Michigan team wearing red, which is funny. And then it says, hey, at least it wasn't scarlet. But the... I forget who it was, but one of the higher ups in the Ohio State's organization is a huge hockey fan. And so he really helped push and negotiate the terms of having this hockey game be played there. The stadium was recently expanded, and they then took a lot of steps to winterize the stadium to the tune of $8 million just in case they hosted a game in the winter.
Wow.
And for those who went to the game thinking that it was really cold, just think back to the Stadium Series game played in Minnesota not too long ago, where it was like wind chill of -30
coldest
or something.
Winter Classic,
like
I
actual
believe.
Temperature, yeah.
I think it was the coldest Winter Classic.
The actual temperature, I think, was -13.
Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, it sucks up here. Well, I keep forgetting that I'm not in the state of Minnesota anymore. But it sucks up there sometimes. Where I'm at now, it's just bipolar. because it was 60 degrees today and then dropped down to 32. And now we're in a blizzard warning.
17 yesterday, it's 41 today here, so I understand.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It could be up to 70 next week here, which is insane. Anyway, an NHL executive told The Athletic that Ohio State at first resisted allowing the league to refer to the game as the Stadium Series because OSU had trademarked the on their clothing and brands. That's why I kept referring to it. I usually refuse to refer to it as the Ohio State. But the school also wouldn't allow the Blue Jackets goaltender Elvis Merzlikins. I can't ever put that name together.
Merzlikins.
Thank you. They wouldn't allow him to put the Buckeye leaves on his helmet.
That's petty.
Which I thought was interesting. And very petty. Yeah. But despite all of those details and fine print, Ohio State did open up their grandest stage and the largest stadium in Ohio and one of the largest in the country so that the Blue Jackets of the NHL could celebrate. And the teams, I guess, did celebrate the football team in the middle of the hockey game. I'm sure it was during one of the intermissions, which was also kind of interesting. So there was 94,751 tickets sold. And while the league did not announce a definite capacity, according to this article, and took roughly 10,000 seats out of the inventory, they still are considering it the second largest crowd in NHL history, exceeded only by the 2014 Winter Classic at Michigan Stadium, which I'm sure Ohio State doesn't like.
People.
Right up their asshole.
105,491 people.
Only to watch the Red Wings lose, if I remember correctly.
Right. Unlike the Red Wings, the Blue Jackets have come out of the Four Nations face-off break with 4 straight wins. And they've now scored 5 or more goals in 19 of their 60 games this season, including the franchise record of 4 consecutive games, which is another insane stat for them. But probably the most sentimental part of the Stadium Series was them honoring the Goudreau brothers. Meredith Goudreau and her 2 kids helped lead the Blue Jackets onto the ice. The Red Wings arrived at the stadium decked out in Goudreau jerseys. All season we've seen a ton of tributes to both brothers, and this was no substitute to that. It was full of tributes and remembrances of Goudreau, and I'm sure everybody knows, but he and his brother Matthew were both struck and killed by a driver who was under the influence in New Jersey in August. The Blue Jackets also found another kind of more subtle way and a special way to honor Goudreau. When they walked into St. John Arena for the pregame pep rally, they walked several hundred feet through a tunnel of fans wearing sweatshirts from Avalon Surf Shop in Avalon, New Jersey. And the reason was on non-game days, Goudreau would often be seen in shirts and sweatshirts that repped the local businesses when he was out and about near his New Jersey home. There's a quote from Boone Jenner, who's the Blue Jackets captain, that says, "It was a pretty collective idea with the older guys on the team. We thought about it a while ago, and we just thought that we've had so many good times with him in these clothes." So they all repped that company. Jane Goudreau, who is Johnny and Matthew's mother, was also in the stadium for the game. So, and seeing the kids, especially the little one, was definitely a special thing. And I think they talked too about how the players have taken. I think they had 2 kids, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And, they've taken both kids under their wings, but especially the little one. So, but congratulations to the Blue Jackets, and way to come out of the break with a hell of a streak. And, hopefully they can keep it going. And Ohio State, you're not as cool as you think you are.
Exactly. Stop being douchebags.
Well, I think that coming out of the Four Nations break, we saw such interest in the Stadium Series because of how much interest was in the Four Nations, because they had 1.6 million viewers. It peaked at 1.8. That's 16% more than the last two Stadium Series games as they aired on ABC. It's the most viewed Stadium Series ever on cable, and the most viewed Stadium Series since 2019, when I guess they started streaming additionally. So I think that that is because let's just be honest, the Red Wings and Blue Jackets, when it was announced that these are the two teams facing each other, we were like, okay, that's fine.
It wasn't
there wasn't anything
real special.
Yeah, so I think that this is a holdover from people being so excited about hockey after the Four Nations, that they were getting into the next big game that was, broadcast nationally.
Right.
So very cool numbers there too.
And they were treated to a good game, which I think is also important.
Yeah.
And it's two teams that are vying for playoff spots right now. This game actually, like you said, the beginning of the season when this was announced, you're like, But now that you think about the fact that this game has actual playoff implications when we're so close to the end of the season, you can't really complain. Plus, the heartwarming, triumphant story that is the Columbus Blue Jackets this season, I think adds to it. But yeah, I don't think we're done seeing the boom in hockey by far. I genuinely think this is just getting started. Hockey's about to blow up bigger than I think anyone's ever realized it's been. So at least that's what I think, and I feel that personally that's what's happening.
Yeah. Which means if you're here listening to this because you want to get into hockey and you're looking for a podcast that will help you do that, we're so happy you're here. Let us know your questions about the sport, and we will try and maybe build an episode around that. Because if you are confused about any of the rules, at least one of us would be able to explain it to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Some are very confusing. Yeah. And we've talked before about having Hockey 101 kind of episodes, whether it's during or after the season. And but being able to build a list of questions from people that are trying to get into the sport and just really don't understand certain things would be really helpful, and I would have a lot of fun with that. So please do it. Please.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
We haven't begged for attention from our viewers in a while, so
we
please,
haven't.
Please
Pay attention to us.
Yeah.
Notice me, senpai. Do you hear that? Do you hear that sound in the background? It sounds like Brass Bonanza. Ba, 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 ba. That's right. This logo will never die. You know why? Because on Saturday, it shouldn't. You're out of your fucking mind. Last Saturday, the Carolina Hurricanes hosted their annual Hartford Whalers night, where they faced off against the Buffalo Sabres. The Hurricanes played in the traditional old school 70s and 80s Hartford Whalers jerseys, while also donning the official name of the Hartford Whalers for that specific game, beating the Buffalo Sabres 5-2. The logos or the jerseys are sick. I love the throwback unis that they have. This move kind of pissed a lot of people off, apparently. I've seen people saying how disgraceful it is that this team moved out of market, and they're mocking those teams, or they're mocking those fans, or just how unoriginal it is and how pissed off people. It's like, as someone who's born and raised in Connecticut, I'm not mad at all. In fact, I'm incredibly thrilled to see that this team is still honoring its past and still showing all of this love and respect to where they used to be. I don't have a problem with it in the slightest. If anything, I would love to see it more. I love that the Hartford Yard Goats, which is the minor league baseball team in Connecticut, even said they posted the Carolina Hurricanes posted a picture of the logo of the Whalers, and new profile pic, and they're like, identity theft is still a crime, Jim.
Yeah, I saw that too. I get it though, to some extent. I feel like people are quit just bringing their names up and just bring the freaking franchise back.
Sure.
I feel like it's one of those things where, because the Hartford Whalers in Carolina is not as cool as the Hartford Whalers in Connecticut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so people are like, yeah, you moved the team, but then you took over the team and you changed everything about it. And so it's like, I can understand why some people are upset about it, just because it's like, quit digging up the memory of this once great love and just give it back to us. You know what I mean?
I mean,
right.
Just practice some necromancy and raise that bitch from the dead.
If people cared enough, they probably would have shown up to games in Hartford, which is part of the reason they don't have a fucking team anymore.
To be fair as well, though, would you be going into Hartford, Connecticut for anything?
I live here. No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's also a reason.
Hartford is a shithole. Connecticut doesn't have good cities. They're all crime-ridden, fucking Gotham-esque.
So I'm just saying, like, that's also the reason. I don't know. But I get it. But I also understand, like, bringing it back is super dope, cool, awesome.
Right.
So.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I get it. I do, but like also at the same time, the fact that they're even acknowledging the past kind of like that warms my cold dead heart.
Yeah.
You know, even though I was never a primary Hartford Whalers fan. They were gone when I was like 7.
Yeah.
Or like maybe like 6 or 7. So I never got to really appreciate them for what they were, but it's still like, you know, it's
a
cool.
shame. It's a shame none of us could have been at the game, because you could have bought a Hartford Whalers popcorn Zamboni.
I know.
That's awesome.
Which looked sick.
I love the teams that do that.
If I can just say, yeah, it looked so dope. They also had like a bunch of like merch and stuff available for sale too.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated. If anyone has a Whalers Zamboni bucket and wants to donate it to Chris to fix a broken part of his soul, just hit us up. We'll figure out a way to get it from you.
Ah! Give me what I want.
I wonder if they have any left. Like, I wonder if we could like call the stadium and be like, "Hey, did you have any of those left over? Like, can I sell you?"
Should we be like tweeting out to the Carolina Hurricanes, be like, "Hey, if you guys have anything left over, could you like hook a brother up?"
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it can't hurt.
No, that would be sick.
That would be awesome.
Switching gears to something a little heavier. D, there's a situation that went down. I don't know if that's something you would like to discuss with the with the class. There we go. I combined both words because I can speak today.
None of us can.
I can speak every week. What's your talk?
So, as someone who is currently a coach, there was a situation that happened in friggin' Detroit.
Michigan.
Yeah. And I was trying to think of the city name and I couldn't. There's a situation in a youth hockey league in Detroit, Michigan, wherein the Little Caesars 14U team beat the Bell Tires 14U team by a score of 43-0. And I cannot stress enough how disrespectful that is. 43-0 is actually nothing for a basketball game. Still not great, but like points are, because of the ability to have multi-point efforts, they accumulate quicker. 43-0 is nothing on a football field because it's, anywhere from 6 to 7 points a try. They accumulate quicker. 43 points on ice hockey is insane.
Yeah.
With that, there are some stats here that I think make this even more shocking. So this was in a tournament. They played 16-minute periods with no running clock. And there was no mercy rule, obviously. The goalie of Bell Tire should have been on this week's 3 Stars of the Week because he had
absolutely insane
98 saves. He faced 141 shots and had 98 saves in a single game. Those numbers we don't even talk about in NHL for a single game.
No.
Yeah.
So for him to have faced that away, like, honestly, he should win the fucking Vezina this year at this point, because dear God, that kid stood on his head and they still got their ass beat 43-0. I think, like, this is a AAA level league. These are 14 new players, which means they're all in 8th grade and under. Maybe you would get like a rogue 9th grader. Most leagues like this, if you are in 9th grade, you are ineligible to play if you're also playing on your high school team, which would mean that these are guys who didn't make their high school team, as well as 7th and 8th graders. So these aren't college athletes. These are children. And I just cannot believe that a head coach would be like, get to the point where it's 16-0 and be like, now it's 27-0. Okay.
Yeah.
32. Doing great, fellas. Like, at no point in time does it seem like he tried to get his team to stop. One of the parents of one of the players said that they think that their kid left more mentally tough, just because, again, had to make 100 saves, all that kind of stuff. But I think it shouldn't ever happen. Realistically, this should not happen. I'm not trying to say that, like, we should baby kids and everybody gets participation trophies, and I'm not starting that whole fucking debate. And if you want to have it with somebody else. Don't have it in my comment section. The point here is not that we shouldn't be, making situations competitive, right? The point is that they were so clearly not competitive and so improperly placed in this tournament, in this division, that you are able to beat their asses 43-0.
Yeah.
That tells me that you didn't realize when you are David going up against Goliath, right? So as Goliath, I mean, I know in that famed story, David beats Goliath, everybody's happy. The real outcome of it more often, though, is that Goliath wins. And this is a moment where Goliath won. And that's not the kind of values that we should be instilling in young children. You shouldn't just beat up on people who have no business being in that division if they are getting their ass handed to them that badly in a game. That is not what we should be teaching them. Also, again, as somebody who coaches, I have a very strict rule about this. If we get up by a certain amount during games, I am then requiring my players to show me skills that they are less advanced at. You have to shoot left-handed. For example, most of our players are right-handed. I force them to shoot lefty. We require additional passes before shots. We do all of these things because if I am beating someone so handily by double digits, then I should have an opportunity for my players to practice additional skills. Because clearly, I mean, they're doing well enough that they can take the time to treat it as if it were a practice. Yeah. And I don't understand why we wouldn't see this at the youth level. I think it's an embarrassment. And I think that the league, whichever league this is, I'm not sure, should do something about it. According to hockeyrankings.com, Little Caesars ranks first in the US, while Belle Tire is ranked 301st. So again, they were so misevenly matched that that should have been taken into account by the coaching staff and by the players. Because I know for a fact that would be devastating to a number of kids. And one parent said, like, I wouldn't have anyone else coaching this team. I think it's great. Like, our team clearly didn't quit. They continued playing. They could have walked off the ice and didn't. And all of that is true. But the league should be doing better to protect kids. Playing the first team against the 301st team, you're setting somebody up for a massive failure. And that's what this is. So I put this on the league and I put this on the adults.
Yeah, I do too. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place for that sort of thing. And as someone who played youth sports, I obviously, much like D did as well, and I'm pretty sure Danger has some experience in that category too. It's like, there is a such thing as, yes, a loss can be good for you, but there's also a point where it's like, what the fuck are we even doing? You know, like
Yeah.
I don't understand why that was allowed.
Yeah, there should have been a mercy rule at the very least. I mean, I know it's AAA hockey, but there should be a mercy rule still. Even if it's like by 20 fucking points, it still would have then made the game be 20-0.
Yeah, I don't understand why mercy rule wasn't put in place. That's a normal practice for most youth sports, so all of a sudden this one's just you know, that's
I did look it up, and like the AAA organization as a whole doesn't have a mercy rule in place for hockey. But most organizations or states develop it on their own, and that's kind of where like the overhead organization had said, hey, you guys figure it out on what you want it to be on your own.
Right. Yeah. And that's what it is for most sports too.
Yeah. No, I don't agree with the layout of that, and that's I give respect to the kids though, I do respect them a lot for playing the whole game. They never wanted to quit once. I'm sure they all wanted to quit, but they all stuck it out the entire game. And that takes a lot of mental strength to sit through something like that. Yeah. And this is a learning experience for all of them, yes. But at what cost?
Right.
At what cost is this learning experience? So.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely
I agree.
Let us know in the comments your thoughts on this, because I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. So.
Yeah.
Switching gears.
Although if Ovechkin wanted to do this next week for the Capitals and win 43 goals and break Gretzky's record all in the same game, I would be okay with it, and I hope that every other team in the league would be too.
Yeah, I feel like at that point probably, but yeah, I would be impressed if
adults,
if
I think, can handle that better on their own. The kids on the winning team don't need to be having the ego boost to the extent of a 43-0 win. Will give them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes no 14-year-old a joyful, fun person to be around.
No, that shit's disgusting.
And the impacts for mental health on the losing team. I mean, those poor kids.
Oh, yeah.
I just, it wasn't long ago that my son was in that age range playing baseball. And I remember, like, they lost games, 19-5, or because they had, like, a 12-run rule. So he lost a lot of games by a significant amount, but nothing like that.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get to some happy stuff. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah,
please.
let's get to some better stuff. We are, as of time of recording, trade deadline day. We have some trades that have happened before the deadline. Let's start with, what was the last ones we covered?
The last one was Ville Husso.
We did talk about Ville
Husso. Good call.
Yes, so we have five trades. 6 trades since. All right, so February 26th, we had a couple. Nashville Predators acquire forward Jesse, I believe that's Ylonen?
Lonan?
Jesse.
Sure.
Lonan?
Jesse
Sure.
Cullen.
I'm just happy you're struggling with the name, because you typically don't. So.
Normally, yeah, I don't know how the fuck to say that. So Jesse, call us, please. Let us know. But he was acquired from the Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for forward Anthony Angelo. Also on the 26th, the Minnesota Wild acquired Tyler Madden, forward, from the Los Angeles Kings for defenseman Joseph Ciccione.
Yeah, come on, Italian from the Northeast.
Ciccione.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Ciao.
You have to do the hand motion. in order to get it correct.
This one was a nice bit of a shocker over the weekend. The Colorado Avalanche have acquired forward Jimmy VC and defenseman Ryan. Why would you add multiple ands? That shit pisses me off. That's, again, proofread NHL. They acquire forward Jimmy VC, defenseman Ryan Lindgren, and defenseman Hank Kempf from the New York Rangers for defenseman Calvin Tahan and forward Juuso Persinen, and conditional second and fourth round picks in the 2025 draft. This was a big move for them to get rid of Ryan Lindgren. So I think we're, again, still seeing the residuals of whatever the fuck is going on in the New York Rangers organization.
Yeah. I still don't know if this is the move to, like, I don't think this is going to fix it, though.
No,
No,
not even close.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's,
Glad we're on the same page.
It's almost full of a start, I think.
It's,
I think they have so much still to go, but I wouldn't call it like, oh, this is the start of.
I think it's less player-oriented at this point, to be honest.
Right.
Also on March 1st, the Minnesota Wild have acquired forward Gustav Nyquist from the Nashville Predators for a second-round pick in the 2026 draft. This is Gus's second shot, I believe, with the Minnesota Wild.
Not this Nyquist. We had a different Nyquist, I think.
Did you guys not have Gustav Nyquist at one point?
No, it wasn't, because I looked and I thought it was the same guy too. No.
Yeah, he started.
Yeah, he did 2022 to 23. Okay.
That's what I was
looking at it on my phone, so maybe I just missed it because the layout's different.
Well, it's also buried in there.
Yeah,
he started with Detroit and then San Jose and then Columbus and then
we got him when we got Oscar Sundqvist.
Yes.
I think Nyquist and
all the Quists.
Delorier.
All the Swedes.
Not
like that trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the Swedes and a Canadian. But yeah, that's a good move for Nyquist because let's be real, the Nashville Predators are fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Shockingly.
He played before a whole 3 games with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he got hurt like right away because we got them for that playoff berth.
Yes.
And then he got hurt.
Correct. Yes.
Yikes.
Sorry, but yeah.
Speaking of players getting a second chance with an organization, March 1st gave us the real big trade we were all waiting for, as the Florida Panthers have acquired Seth Jones, defenseman from the Chicago Blackhawks, and a 4th-round pick in the 2026 NHL draft from the Chicago Blackhawks for goaltender Spencer Knight and a 1st-round pick in the 2026 draft. Spencer Knight getting his second go-around with the Chicago Blackhawks organization. We did briefly mention this, I believe, last week, talking about Seth Jones wanting out, and he got it. And then the trade that broke on the day of recording, March 4th, the Edmonton Oilers acquire forwards Trent Frederic, Max Jones, and Peter Hauser in a 3-team trade involving the Boston Bruins and New Jersey Devils. Boston acquires defenseman Max Wanner and a 2nd-round pick in the 2025 draft and a 4th-round pick in the 2026 draft. The New Jersey Devils acquire forward Shane Lachance. Lachance. But that is all the trades we have as I said before when we started. If you didn't check me out live on YouTube talking about all things trade deadline, I hope your teams did something, which I think translates perfectly to our question of the week. Trade deadline, obviously, being today. Who do you think are the biggest movers? What team makes the biggest shakeups? D, we'll start with you.
I think we might see Minnesota make some more big swings here coming in. I think they're in a really good place, but I think they have a possibility of a cup run, to be honest, with where they are. I think that they're going to get some big pieces to try and bolster that cup run. So it might be
like that's always
I know But
I never want to see us get rid of guys when we're meshing so well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine for future considerations, but you can still only have so many people. So
I think
I don't know.
still
It'll be interesting.
might see it. Yeah, we'll see. I think Nashville's got to do something. Have to do something.
I think there's something.
Who else did I think was going to go? The Rangers could continue to just dismantle their organization piece by piece. They might wait till the summer to do that officially, though. We'll see. They had gotten out of their lull and back into an upswing, so there's that. I think we should see. I think Pittsburgh should be seriously considering selling. Not Sidney Crosby. Let us be clear. He is not going anywhere.
Stop with the nonsense, people.
But I think that there's some other people that they've got to move around. Right. Just truthfully, if they want to be fucking competitive again. This is the second year that they have been, or is it the third now, that they've been just absolute ass. So we'll see. Seattle is going to need to move some pieces. They started off really strong in their inaugural season, and then have just sort of fallen flat. Their chemistry isn't just fully there yet. We'll see what the Leafs do, and we'll see what the Oilers do. Because eventually, I think, like we talked about, Crosby, he's not going anywhere. McDavid might. And I genuinely believe that if out of the two of them, the likelihood of one of them leaving, it's McDavid. Because Crosby has earned his rings. You know what I mean? He already has them. Mm-hmm. He's not going to leave an organization. He's going to retire. He's so close to it anyway. McDavid is nowhere close to retiring and hasn't gotten shit. So I think we'll see him requesting a trade. Not at trade deadline. He'll finish out this season. He'll finish out his contract.
You think that we'll see him ask to move on from Edmonton?
I think we'll see him ask to move on from Edmonton.
Okay. I don't think that's crazy. I don't think it's crazy at all.
I mean, if Edmonton can get it together somehow, maybe we don't. But I'm not seeing Edmonton get it together. At no point in time have we gotten it together.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
I think we see him ask to leave.
There's a good chance.
That's my big spicy take.
Danger, you got anything? Who do you think makes the moves?
I think, the McDavid call could be a good one. As upset as that would make everyone in Edmonton.
That would be wild.
Yeah, that kind of... I hadn't thought too much about that, so that kind of took my brain a whole different path than I was previously thinking. So I don't even really know other than that. I mean, it's hard to think about particular players wanting to moves outside of, obviously anybody with wild card shots. I think will be adding a player or two to try to up their chances.
Right.
But yeah, that's a tough one, man.
I think Anaheim sells, and I think Anaheim sells either Zegras or Gibson.
Really? I can see that.
Like,
who would they ask for in return, though?
A lot.
No, but like who?
I don't know. But they would.
Who are they going after?
You're gonna want probably someone up front. You're gonna, because defensively there's a lot of young talent. I could also see them trading Brian Dumoulin. He would be a great depth piece for another team, but Anaheim has so many young players that are available to play on that blue line that don't get any playing time because you've got other veterans there. Gibson could be traded if he could stay healthy. He spent a lot of time on the IR this year.
True.
It's been tough. There's a lot of upside to Zegras. There's nothing set in stone with him. I don't think that the Ducks are keen to give him up just yet. I think there's still something left, but I could see Gibson or Dumoulin, them just trying to add pieces to make that team better because they're only 6 points out of a wild card spot. I can see Winnipeg maybe adding one or two pieces, nothing major, just maybe like depth moves. I can see Dallas.
I don't know if I would touch them. They're doing so well.
That's the other part of the coin, right? Is do you worry about trying to fix something that you don't need to? Calgary Flames could also make a push. I mean, they're realistically only 5 points out of a spot in the Pacific in third place. So, they might even be able to make it into the top 3 as opposed to a wild card team. I could see Nashville selling. It's not working this year. What they tried isn't working. So I could see them selling. I'm going to throw this out there. I think Mikko Rantanen gets traded again.
I do too.
I think it's to New Jersey.
Yeah.
That's my thought. I also called I also called Taylor Hall when he got traded to the Buffalo Sabres. I called that, nobody else did. So I'm good at getting lucky sometimes with guesses. I can see Columbus trying to make a splash, maybe trying to gain a couple extra players to keep themselves afloat, because that race in the wild card for the Eastern Conference is super tight.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way down to, like, the Columbus Blue Jackets have 68 points, all the way down to the Philadelphia Flyers who have 62. Even realistic shot for the New York Islanders. They have 61 points, so it's not a huge gap. I could see them making some moves.
Yeah.
I could see Boston selling. I'm going to say it. I could see Boston selling.
I could see Boston selling. Yeah.
I don't know who. Maybe Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah.
I don't see
also
Brad
Utah.
Marchand.
They're
could buy.
Just a couple of spots. They might be, buying big.
I think I'm excited for the trade deadline because there's so many opportunities and there's so many great teams that are looking to make some moves, and I don't know. I wonder if after this season we don't see Chicago selling some more people. 'Cause you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out.
Chicago's got to sell their front office. I'll say that again.
They're gonna sell the team
every time. I'll say it again.
Just sell the team. Move the team to
Alaska.
Move
them to Atlanta.
Yeah, move them to Atlanta. We've tried expansion teams there. Why not try a relocation? It's the third time's the charm. I could also see St. Louis buying into somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Or finally trading Buchnevich. One of two things is going to happen. But I'm curious. Make sure you guys let us know in the comments what your thoughts are, and we'll definitely talk about next week who was right.
Watch it be none of us.
I know we're all
somehow none of us get
vastly far.
We threw
off.
spaghetti at a wall. Yeah,
and it turns out it didn't stick.
Yeah, 100%.
Switching over to some naughty boys and some hurt boys.
Yeah, we have no naughty boys again.
Woo!
I mean, last week it made sense at least, but I'm shocked. I love it. But we do have some new hurt boys and some updates on some hurt boys. Nobody new for Anaheim for the first time, I think, all season. Which is crazy. For Boston, we have Trent Frederick with a lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 16th. Brad Marchand, an update on him. He's got with an upper body injury, expected to be out until at least March 11th. Update on Jason Zucker, who is now listed as day-to-day with his lower body injury for Buffalo. Nobody new for Calgary. For Carolina, we have an update on William Carrier. Lower body injury expected now to be out until at least March 30th. For Chicago, Nick Foligno is out with a back injury. Thankfully, just listed as day-to-day, though. Philip Kurashev with a hand injury is on AR, expected to be out until at least March 7th. So hopefully he'll be back soon, too. For Colorado, we have Josh Manson with a lower body injury, expected to be out until at least March 6th. Gabriel Landeskog. I'm from Minnesota. It will always be Skook to me. He's out with that knee injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 17th. For Columbus, we have Sean Monahan with a wrist injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 24th. An update on Eric Gudbranson with a shoulder injury on IR, expected now to be out until at least April 1st. And Cole Sillinger with a shoulder injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 24th. Nobody new for Dallas. For Detroit, we have Michael Rasmussen with that upper body injury, expected now to be out until at least March 6th. Nobody new for Edmonton. For Florida, we have Matthew Tkachuk with a groin injury on IR. This says expected to be out until at least April 17th.
They're questioning if it's for the rest of the year. They're not sure if he'll be back in the postseason.
Give us just a second. Give me a second.
So my whole PC froze, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah. But yeah. So he won't be an option until at least the postseason, if that, the general manager told reporters on Monday.
Which at that point, just hold him out.
For them.
You know, like just call it for the season, because you don't want to
get him healthy.
Yeah, the worst thing you could do is bring somebody back right after an injury for the postseason and then just get fucked up again. Like, the smart move would probably just hold him out the rest of the year.
Or bring him back, like, I don't know what the rules are, but bring him back time for like the second or third rounds. Yeah. Like, you don't have to bring him back necessarily for the first round. Right. For Minnesota, we have Jonas Brodin with a lower body injury, expected to be out until at least March 15th. For Montreal, we have Michael Pezzetta with a lower body injury, listed as day-to-day. Kirby Dach with a knee injury on IR is out for the rest of the season. He was placed on IR on Sunday. He missed the last 3 games after having season-ending knee surgery Friday.
Right.
So that sucks for them. And then Caden Gooley with that quad injury is now expected to be out until at least March 30th. For Nashville, an update on Zachary Leheureux with the upper body injury on IR, expected to be out now until March 8th. Mark Jankowski with an upper body injury, listed day-to-day. Roman Josi, upper body on IR, expected to be out until at least March 6th. For New Jersey, we have the first of the 2 Hughes brothers on our list today, but Jack Hughes is undisclosed, but expected to be out until at least March 7th. He is awaiting the results of additional testing. He was injured in the 3rd period of Sunday's loss to the Golden Knights after crashing into the boards with an inadvertent collision with Jack Eichel. So hopefully it's not a significant injury, but that's kind of what they're saying for him. And then we have the update on Jonas Siegenthaler with the lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until March 11th. For the Islanders, we have Mike Riley with that chest injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 8th. Semyon Varlamov with a lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 18th. Matt Martin with a lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 11th. Marcus Hogberg, upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 8th. For the Rangers, Riley Smith, who is listed as day-to-day, not injury-related. He is just out for some roster management, it says. And then Chris Kreider with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 5th, which is tomorrow as of date of recording. And lastly, Tyler Clevin with a lower body injury is expected to be out until at least March 10th. For Philadelphia, we have Garnet Hathaway with an upper body injury, expected to be out until March 6th. For Pittsburgh, we have Pierre-Olivier Joseph, but he is on IR, expected to be out until at least March 9th. For San Jose, we have Nikolai Kovalenko with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 6th. Henry Thurn with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 8th. And an update on Logan Couture on IR, expected to be out now for the rest of the season with his groin injury. His last game was January 31st of last season. He still has 2 years left on his contract. But, yeah, he's not close to practicing yet. That last update was as of November of 2024. So, yeah, I don't know why they've updated it now, but they did. Nobody new for Seattle or St. Louis. For Toronto, we have Steven Lorenz, undisclosed, listed as day-to-day. I did try to look into it and couldn't find any other information on that. They did finally put Max Pacioretty on IR, which I think we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the week before. Retroactive to February 8th, because we were like, why haven't they put him on yet? But yeah, this says, the 36-year-old veteran has been a disappointment this season with only 5 goals. But he is apparently eligible to return at any time. But putting him on IR rules him out for the game this week. So, whatever. Don't know what they're doing in Toronto, but I'm sure they have a plan up their sleeve. And then Christopher Tanev is out with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least March 5th. For Utah, we have Nick Bjugstad out with an illness, listed as day-to-day. Nikki, I'm sorry you contracted syphilis from the syphilis book.
Beep, beep.
And then we have, Michael Carcone. Really? Carcone? Okay. Lower body injury also listed as day-to-day. For Vancouver, we have the other Hughes brother, Quinn Hughes, undisclosed, listed as day-to-day. He had a maintenance day on Sunday, and then he'll see how he feels each day. He tweaked something during Saturday's game against the Kraken. Their head coach said that it's not related to the previous oblique injury, which is a good thing. But yeah, hopefully it's nothing long term, because he should be coming back soon.
Yeah.
For Vegas, we have William Karlsson with that lower body injury on IR, expected now to be out until at least March 16th. Shea Theodore is expected now to be out until at least March 23rd. Updated on Sonny Milano for Washington.
Yeah.
He's still on IR, expected to be out until at least March 11th, which is awesome. He took part in Wednesday's practice, though he was wearing a non-contact jersey.
He has been in a contact jersey at least once.
Oh, that was January. Okay, I'm an idiot. I didn't look at the date. Okay, so he is now at least in a contact jersey. So hopefully he's coming back soon. And then Winnipeg has Dylan Sandberg, who's out for personal reasons, expected to be out until at least March 6th. But that's what I have for injuries. I felt like that went really fast this week, so there must not have been too many new ones.
No, it feels like everybody's staying healthy, which is a fucking change.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, it's been a week back, but yeah, I'll take it.
I know. We have some fantasy hockey updates. For those who would like to know, we wrapped up week 19 of 22. I mean, our season's almost at an end, guys.
Yeah.
As normal, we have 5 games that were played. D got the win over Matt, 110 to 89. Woo! Marcello beat John 120 to 74. Drew beat Dave 108-62. Wes beat Danger 117 to 75. And myself, I beat Maul 116 to 102. That is a Canadian that didn't win. If we slide over to the standings right now, it's all pretty much set up our playoffs are already locked. So our playoffs
Are they really?
Yes, they are officially locked.
How did that happen?
So, because the ones that got eliminated weren't even close to the top performing. So myself, D, Drew, and Wes are all going to be competing in the playoffs. With everyone else competing in the consolation bracket, which still gives everyone something to look for. I don't even have anything next to my name, so I'm assuming that means I've clinched everything, apparently.
Yeah, you clinched first seed.
Yep.
I clinched my division.
Yes.
Yep.
And then Drew and Wes got the last two.
Just clinched. Yeah, playoffs.
Yeah.
So you clinched number 1 seed and your division, but yeah.
Correct, yeah. Which is wild still to think about. On week 20, our current matchups are John and Matt, Marcello and Dave, Danger and Drew, Maul and Wes, and D and I are facing off. D's currently winning right now, so...
Not by much, though. Not by as much as I want to be beating you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, shit happens. What are you going to do? And it's only Tuesday, so who knows what this is going to look like next week when we talk about it. I don't have a trivia question for you guys today. I'm slacking, I know.
Boo hiss.
I know.
You are slacking.
Tie me up in the
this
street.
actually just reminded me, though, that I need to go and check my teams.
You probably, yeah.
For the rest of the week. If I'm going against Chris, I can't leave anybody on the bench.
No, because of how we get over here on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
How did you were winning all week? Saturday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it is time for us to transition to my favorite segment, the best way that we round this out.
Hell yeah.
Our obscure NHL player of the week. Nice. Well, to continue on our path to discovering everyone's lead naughty boy in the league, we went with a player by the name of Tim Hunter. Tim Hunter was born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And he was a right-handed right winger who was drafted 54th overall in the 1979 NHL draft by the Atlanta Flames. Which tells you how long he had been playing for. He did not make his NHL debut until 1981. By that time, the Atlanta Flames had already made their trek to Calgary. So the homegrown player spent the majority of his career in Calgary, also stopping off for a year with the Quebec Nordiques. 4 seasons with the Vancouver Canucks, rounding out his career in 97 with the Sharks. 815 career games. 62 goals, 76 assists, and 3,146 penalty minutes. 2,405 of those penalty minutes were with one team, making him the career penalty minutes leader for the Calgary Flames.
Very nice.
In his 132 career postseason games, 5 goals, 7 assists, 426 penalty minutes. His stats are pretty nice. For awards, he's won the NHL Budman of the Year nominee, the Bill Masterson Trophy, 2-time nominee, 2-time nominee for the King Clancy Memorial Trophy, Calgary Flames Ralph T. Scurfield Humanitarian Award winner, NHL penalty minutes leader, 1986-87, 361, and 88-89 with 375. NHL playoffs penalty minutes leader in 1983 with 70. Calgary Flames team record, obviously most career penalty minutes. He's also got the team record for most penalty minutes in a season at 315 and most penalty minutes in one playoff year at 108. My man was a fucking menace. Big menace. He has done some coaching in his time after the sport. after his playing. He was most recently the coach of the Moose Jaw Warriors of the Western Hockey League in the CHL. And he's done some assistant coaching, most recently for the Washington Capitals. And he played he was on 2 teams that no longer exist at one point in his career. And yeah, he was fired in January 2020 as coach, so he's kind of just chilling. But shout out to Tim Hunter for being a shit disturber on the ice. We'll call it that. And for being a legend. Being a legend. So shout out to Tim Hunter, our player of the week. I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure, if you haven't already, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, let you know anytime we upload anything new. If you're listening to us on Spotify or anywhere else, make sure you're following. Give us any reviews. That would be awesome. 5 stars preferably. But if not, give us low reviews and let us know why. We approve of constructive criticism here. If you're still listening to us right now, in the comments below, let me know and let us know what team you think is going to be the biggest movers at the deadline. I'd love to hear from you guys for sure. Anything you guys want to add before we wrap up?
Remember to be looking at our TikTok and YouTube shorts too, because there is some exclusive content that comes your way over there.
Absolutely. And if you missed the question of the week, that is also now being uploaded on its own, as well as in the show. So there's plenty of stuff popping off on our channel. Y'all need to be in the know with that good. On that note, as I always like to end the show, peace, love, puss suitor. And until we see you motherfuckers again in the face-off circle, good luck to your teams at the deadline.